Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. We're going to take a look at the markets today. We're going to focus in on the S&P 500 ETF, the SPY. Look at several key indicators that I look at every day, and then check in on a couple of these, actually three of them, of the hyperscalers. And then I want to take a look at what's going on with Tesla. Okay, so the SPY down 22 cents on Friday. Up $10.17 for the week. So continued push to the upside, just continuing to trend higher, little pullbacks, then we continue to move, continue to ride above the 10-day moving average. We're sitting at a new all-time closing high on a weekly basis here, where and closing well above the prior week high. So the trend is strong, the trend is in place. Let's take a look at the Elliott Wave picture. Let me go to the weekly and just ignore this. It's all a matter about where I place the fifth wave that gives me the cautionary symbol. And by the way, out into the future like this, looking at where I have 2, 3, 4, etc. These are placeholders. They are not meant to be anything related to the price or the time at this point. I'm only focused when we look at the waves placement in here is short term. Like what are we looking at? So this is the path forward. I just don't think the first wave is done yet. And then we've got 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish off intermediate wave 5. All right, so that's where we sit on a weekly basis. Here's where I think we are on a daily. And so here's the 5 waves that we're trying to finish off. Now, this third minute wave is shorter than the first wave. So therefore, the 5th minute wave has to be shorter than the third, because the Elliott Wave rule is the third wave can never be the shortest. So therefore, when you look at this, you say, well, okay, where does 5 equal 3? And I think I had it on there and didn't realize it. Let me go right here. I need to scroll over a little bit more. I don't know why it's not giving it to me. There we go. 682. So I'm not saying this is for sure going to get to 682. What this is saying is, number one, if I have my wave count correct, which it looks like it is to me, the 5th wave should not exceed 682. So we'll be watching for 5 waves to develop in here. It could be an impulse wave structure, it could be an ending diagonal. At this point, we're not really sure. So that's the way where we sit here with the SPY. It just continues to trend to the upside. Now, it doesn't mean every day is going to be higher. Doesn't mean it's going to stay above the 10. We may get these little pullbacks along the way as we get our little corrections in here. But that's where we are with the SPY right now. Let's take a look at a few of the indicators. Let's start off with the VIX. Let me go to the daily view. So this was up 5 cents on Friday. Minimal movement. We've been down below that 10-day moving average now for, 7 days. Staying very subdued after we got a little spike up in here at the beginning of September, and then we just nope, not so fast. I've got this color coded down here, whatever you want to color that. I'm partially colorblind, so I don't know if that's purple or light blue or whatever. It looks kind of purplish to me, but that's me. So it looks to me like we're just above this area that has become support. You get down into here, it pretty much says that that's kind of the area that it's going to bottom in. The question is, it doesn't help you with timing. Okay, just because you're down here, it doesn't mean that you can't stay down here for a while. But it's definitely, the markets are definitely calm down here. There is no fear in the marketplace right now. And of course, you can see that in the trending in terms of what's going on. But that's where we sit with the VIX. That's what the VIX is telling us. Okay, let's take a look at the McClellan oscillator. The McClellan oscillator is also telling us the market is very, very calm. The rubber band, as I like to think of it, is not stretched. Up above, up here, it's very stretched. Down here, it's very stretched. What we've been doing is bouncing up and down, above and below the zero line, and we're just sitting right at almost the zero line at 17 points. Okay, so plus 17. Now, when I look at the put to call ratio, and let me pull that up. Here we go. Here's the 10-day equity only put to call ratio. The 10-day is 0.60. These are the daily readings. This is the 10-day reading. We're not getting any kind of extreme sentiment coming out of the option pits. Okay. So again, reaffirming the fact that, we're not at an extreme with the trend or anything like that. So when I look back, let's just look and see, we had these yellow. I color coded yellow as a caution when it starts to get a little bit more bullish sentiment coming out. Okay. That's not extreme. It's not red. I color coded red when it gets down into the 40s, etc., and lower. Okay. So when did we have that? July, mid-July, May, February, December. Okay, December, February, May, and July, and we have nothing now. So let's just go back real quick. The SPY. December, we got somewhat of a corrective move that occurred into January. February, we got an even more corrective move, a bigger corrective move that started February, March into the beginning of April, right? And then we got those color yellow cautionary type of sentiment coming out mid-May. Very small correction. Mid-July, very small correction. And we have nothing now. Nothing. Okay? So that's why it kind of reinforces to me the picture that says, hey, we have a little bit more to go. Okay, we have a little bit more to go to finish this off, and I would expect that we're going to develop some kind of extreme sentiment as we get into the peak here of this first wave. So no guarantees, nothing has any certainty around it, but that's the way it looks at the moment. Let's take a look at some of these, what they call hyperscalers related to AI. Let me start off with Amazon. Okay, Amazon, this is a weekly chart. Amazon was down $4.18 this last week. And as of right now, it hasn't pushed above the February high. Okay, there was a January, February. Hasn't pushed above that high yet. Okay, so what's Amazon doing in the AI marketplace? They have a major partnership with Anthropic for AI. So we'll see what develops out of that. But as of right now, no major fireworks, I guess, is the best way to put it. Now, let's take a look at Microsoft. If I can get down here and pull this up. Microsoft weekly chart. Look at this. It was on fire, of course, just straight up. And then we had this week right here, the week of July 27th. Huge move. Kind of reminds me of what just happened with Oracle when you look at the candle. We'll show that in just a minute. Big move. And what's going on with Microsoft? Microsoft struck a major deal with Nebius. Well, who in the heck is Nebius? Nebius is a big infrastructure provider for supporting things like what they're doing in artificial intelligence and providing the infrastructure, the data center and management of it, etc. Huge deal with Microsoft. And this is what happened with Nebius this week, up $24.94, closing at $90.41. You can see the volume in here. And then the third one I want to mention, of course, is Oracle. And that was all over the news this week. Up $59.38 on the week. And you can see the high was at $307.97, closing at $292. Huge move. Probably that may be a record volume for them on a weekly basis, not quite sure. So, boy, that is a big bet. And what was this all about? Their big $300 billion contract with OpenAI. Now, OpenAI is not a for-profit company yet, I don't believe. And again, this is all related to Stargate and a whole bunch of things to be developed and to come down the road. So we'll see what materializes here out over the next several years. But this is a huge bet on AI and a huge bet in the stock, and everybody who's buying into it with this move is placing that bet. So pretty interesting stuff that's going on right now. Now let's talk about Tesla, and then that'll be it for the video. So Tesla up $45.10 this week. Big push. 2-week move. Okay. And we're sitting at the highest level since January, the highest closing on a weekly basis since the week of January 26th. Okay. So is this about ready to take off and continue up, take out the December highs? I don't think so. I say not so fast. So when I look at the Elliott Wave picture of it, here's my thoughts. Here's the way it looks to me. And let me zoom back out a little bit first. So on a weekly basis, this is what I have on Tesla. I think a major cycle wave on Tesla peaked in 2021, October of 2021. And then I think we've been undergoing a major corrective pattern since then. What looks like a big three wave. And if that's the case, if it's a 3-3, this should be developing into a 5-wave move. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So I've got this B wave here, this WXY, this B wave peaking in December of last year. And now I think we're working our way down. Now, when I look at this, why do I think that this is like a second wave, like a counter trend type move? Because I think this is an ABC. And that got reinforced to me when I looked at what the heck was happening with this big sideways move. And it looks like a triangle for a B wave. From an Elliott Wave perspective, triangles are only in 2 locations, 4th waves or B waves. Okay, this is not a 4th wave. So I came to the conclusion, well, that just reinforces the picture. This is a B wave, which means it's in a counter trend ABC. And so therefore, it just, to me, reinforced the fact that I think we're doing a second wave corrective pattern. So now, how far is it going to go? I mean, what I'm looking at here, the ABC, C wave, this could go to where it equals, but I doubt it's not going to go that high because that goes back beyond the start of it. So right now, I'd have to, put a target somewhere up in this range. Up around 415, 416. Where did we close? 396, let's round it. So we'll see if that's what plays out. But that's what I'm thinking is going on here with this, with Tesla right now. Big, strong 2-week move, getting overbought. Wave pattern says it should be getting ready to reverse. So that's what I'll be watching for. And then if that's the case, 3rd wave should be pretty strong to the downside. Okay, that is it on Tesla, and that's it for this weekend. If you felt like the video was helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to this channel, hit that little subscriber button. And if you'd like more of this information on a regular basis, head on over to joehenches.net. Everyone have a great week. We got the Fed meeting this week. We'll talk to you on the next video.